Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam.
Are you gonna have your camera on or off, Kimberly?
I'm trying to put it on. I thought it was on already.
Let me see here.
I'm not good
I'm
at
gonna have
this
to do
stuff.
something.
Oh,
Let's
hold
see.
on.
You should
There
get a
it is.
message. Okay. There we
There he
go.
is.
All right. All right, we'll get started in just a second. That's fine. Okay. All right, 7:30, so we can go ahead and get started in 1 second. Hold on. All right. All right. Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Alaikum
أعوذ بالله
salam.
من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره. نعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله كثيرا كثيرا كثيرا. All right, we have a pop-up show today. We're having an interview with Kimberly, a former cult member. Thank you all for joining us. This is another installment of R2F pop-up shows. Real quick before we begin, I would like to just share something with everybody, just a little advertisement. 1 second. Actually, I don't have the capability, but I'll just want to make a notice to everybody that there is another organization that is actually not affiliated with R2F.
Okay.
They pretty much perform umrahs on behalf of the deceased. So if you wanted to contact them, you can reach out to me, and I can give you their information to reach out to them. It costs about 275 American dollars, and they will perform the umrah for your deceased loved one within 72 hours. Usually it's within 24 hours. And they'll send you videos of them, making the dua and confirmation that they actually made the umrah. So it's a big deal because you actually get the blessings of, having the umrah done for your loved one, whether it be a parent, grandparent, or anybody else. And the money actually goes to help support students that are studying Islamic studies in Medina and Mecca. So you get double the blessings. So with that, Kimberly, how are you doing? Welcome to the show.
Um, Thank you.
And I guess we can just
I'm
start right
good.
off by just telling us who you are, how you're affiliated, what cult you're coming from, and just you can just direct
Go from
the
there.
flow of the show.
Yeah.
Oh,
The floor
wow.
is yours.
I'm not good at this, but thank you for having me.
Mhm.
Basically, where do I start? I was basically put into it, basically. Wasn't raised Muslim, became Muslim with my mom when she was young, when she was 21, we was 5 and 6 years old. So I was basically raised in it. And hmm, um,
And now when we say it, which are you talking about? The cult of the Muslims of the
I,
America, or TMOA?
There.
just basically Sunni Muslim. It was Orthodox at first, and then it was
Oh,
Sunni
okay,
Muslim.
okay,
Okay.
okay, gotcha.
Um, and then so how can I put it this way? So when I can talk about when I say abuse started that lended to the arranged marriage.
Okay. So just so we have a little context, did you and your mother became Sunni Muslim? Is it before you encountered the group of TMOA, or was
It
it at
was
the same time?
before. It was
Okay.
before. Because my mother, we were already just basically Sunni Muslim
Okay.
before the Sheikh came.
Okay.
So and right after her and her husband, I call him a the molester, as I call him.
Oh wow.
And he after that they arranged marriage for me to marry someone during the time when the Sheikh first got here.
Okay.
So it was basically if this happened to her, let's go ahead and marry her off.
Oh wow.
to a
So
brother in the mosque, and he was 22 and I was 13.
Yikes.
wow. So let me just just correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So the your mother was married to somebody, and you guys were already Muslim. Was your mother's husband already Muslim as well?
Yeah, I spoke with she interviewed me yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Shahar, she knows
Scheherazade.
who it is.
Yeah.
She
Mm-hmm.
knows who it is. She even that told me she knows who it is. Y'all all
Wow.
know who he is.
Well, is it?
He,
Well, we have. It's up to you. You don't have to if you want, but you
You can
can
say his
say his
name.
name.
Yeah.
oh, it's Khalil.
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 Khalil. Um.
I know like 7 Khalils. Khalifa Khalil,
I'm gonna
like
say Khalil Abdul Jalil.
I have no idea who that is. I'm not gonna hold you. Jaffer might
He,
though.
as far as I know, he has gotten promoted. He was married to my mother. My mother passed away in '86 in New York.
So I think if someone can give me a text or send me a message, I believe we're talking about Khalifa Khalil.
Okay, well if it's Khalifa Khalil,
Yes,
then I know. Okay.
correct,
Okay.
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
Okay. Wow.
So
And a lot of people
Khalifa.
don't know my birth name, but my Muslim name is Ruqaiyah.
Okay.
Ruqayyah. Okay. So Khalifa Khalil, when he was married to your mother and he was molesting you, when like, what age did he start molesting you? If you don't mind me asking.
I don't. My counselor, because I had to have a lot of counseling. My counselor,
Mhm.
and basically, I guess I blacked it out. And a family member told me that it started when I was 8.
Wow. And and I don't want to like you tell me to stop whenever. Um
Okay.
because if it's too much, if it's too detailed or whatever, you could stop me. But was it like full on child molestation as in like sexual acts, or was it just touching, inappropriate touching? Like what level of molestation are we talking about?
That was all of it.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
Touching and to the inappropriate, very inappropriate.
So and then up to what we just told us is people found out about it. And how did they
No,
find out about it? Oh, okay. Go
nobody
ahead.
found out of it. I think my mother was brainwashed because I told her about it. I think I told her when I was like 11, because I always was told I was the bad child. I was the one always getting in trouble. When something's happening like you want to like that, you're going to be rebellious.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I learned that as an adult, that's what happens when a child is basically trying to lash out, trying to figure out. So, it'd be times I wouldn't come in before my crib. I would be out there outside playing, don't come in until a little later, get in trouble. So I was always in trouble. So I was always the one that had to be leave behind, stay home. You
Mm.
couldn't go anywhere. And somebody else would be there with me, of course. So when I told my mother, um, I don't know if she believed me or not. All I know is that next thing I know, they said they went into the mosque and got the brother to ask me if he wanted to marry me. And they said, you were getting married. And I was like, what?
Wow.
So, and
So
I even ran
that's
away afterwards and they found me.
Wow.
wow. So it's just mind-boggling that someone like says I'm being molested, I'm being violated, I'm being abused, and then the answer to that is like, yeah, let's go get her married.
Some adult 22-year-old man when she's 13. That's
Yeah.
Mhm.
And just and Allah knows best what the intentions were, but it almost seems like a cover up. Like,
yeah,
okay,
100%.
well, this can come. Let's go get her into a relationship so that she is having sexual relations, so that nothing can come back on me.
Wow.
And if anybody's listening, um, we just started the interview, but if anybody's
Back to back
listening,
days. Inshallah.
yeah, and Khalifa Khalil is still alive, and has he reached out to you, apologized, asked for forgiveness?
Oh no, I don't think he know. I don't think he thinks that he doesn't think he did anything wrong. Um, it's crazy because in the arrange, I call it the I don't even call it a marriage. I call it the thing that I was arranged in. I have, my beautiful children, of course. They helped me survive life.
Right.
But it started being into that situation with following the sheikh after the wedding. It was like move away from Philly, go to Seattle, was in there for years. And a lot of stuff wasn't just, when you're a teenager, you're scared, you're afraid, and you're told, shut up. Your opinion doesn't mean anything. Do what you're told. And that's your point. That's what it is. And you can't, you have no way of escaping. That's just the way it is.
Jeez.
And we had to follow everything that, and I'll admit, he was probably being brainwashed as well. I'm not going to lie about that. But the thing is, I'm a kid.
Yeah.
I was a kid. So you got me from 13 to like 21 until I actually ran away.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. And now, when we were talking to Scheherazade, they never asked her for her consent or her permission. Did anybody say, "Hey, do you want to get married? Do you give your consent?" They just said you're married.
My mother said, I'll never forget. I don't know if any of y'all, and Scheherazade, her husband knows me. He knows my mother. He knows the person that they arranged. Everybody knows him because he's made a reputation in the community of a lot of people that don't mess with him. Let's put it that way.
Right. Okay.
So they all know him, and they know she know.
Right.
And I remember the mosque when we was all up, and everybody was like all upset. He told me that everybody was mad at him because how dare he, say he's going to marry me and I'm only a kid and he should marry someone his own age. And I remember my mom said, you have to say something. And all I was doing, sitting there crying. I was just crying. I could not, I was crying for so uncontrollably. And she said, you have to say something. You're not going to leave until you say something. You have to say you will take him. So I had to. I was sitting there like, what am I supposed to do? Everybody's looking at me. I'm supposed to do something that I don't want to do. I'm only 13 years old.
Wow. So basically, you're under compulsion. They got you to marry a grown man. And
yep.
And if you don't mind, I don't know if it's up to you again. Do you want to say who the man's name is?
No, he knows.
I know you have kids and stuff, so that's up. I mean, like you can leave that out. That's fine. Like,
no,
that's
fine.
question or anything. Okay, that's fine.
Fair enough.
But he don't think he did anything wrong either, so it's okay.
Really? Oh, okay.
He doesn't. No, it's okay though, because you know what? I have forgiven a lot of people in my life, and it took a whole 40 years to do that. It took a whole 40, and now I'll be 54, and it took a whole 40 years to do that.
Okay. So we just got clarification in the chat. So it's not Khalifa Khalil.
Oh, okay.
It's brother Khalil from upstate New York. He's Puerto Rican brother that lives in New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. I'm thinking of like Chief Khalil.
I didn't know how many Khalils y'all got.
I like 7.
Yeah.
It's okay. But when I was thinking about, I was about to say, whoa, hey, that's.
So if anybody, just to clarify again for all of our viewers, it's not Khalifa Khalil. It is brother Khalil from New York, the Puerto Rican brother, Abu Habil. That's the brother we're referring to.
Okay, there we go. All right.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, this is
that's wild.
But you know what? She confirmed it. She even confirmed this. She said, this has been going around. People have been hearing this rumor and nobody's been confirming it.
Wow.
She
confirmed that with me on the phone.
It's like there's a lot of things that happen in the TMOA cult that because now you have 3-4 generations in it, and stuff happens in the modern times, and they think like, oh, this is like something new that just came up, and we keep finding out that these things have been happening since the very beginning. Pedophilia, rape, molestation, abuse, all the way up until today, and it just keeps getting covered up. Like we have like the channel that actually got our old channel shut down, Islamic, what is it, or TMOA historical events.
Historical events, yeah.
So they have all these interviews with these older people, some not so older, but these are people that are actually guilty of, like one brother's guilty of actually pedophilia.
All these crimes,
busted
yeah.
for pedophilia.
And he's all
Another individual
just glorified.
Yeah, just
But
on the videos like
I don't understand. My thing is, okay, so what are they doing? Because I understand, that, God's going to get you. I got it. He's going to get you. You think you're getting away with it. I got it. I want to see people arrested. I want to see people in jail and throw away the key because you know what?
Yeah.
As I found out growing up and doing a lot of studies, is that it's hereditary. It goes from if the person is not held accountable, it's going to pass on to the child, and the child will do something to somebody else's child.
Yep.
It's not a cure. And I don't understand why people say it's a cure. There's no cure. Sorry. Castration, maybe.
Yeah. It's and when you have a culture like in TMOA where it's a culture of cover up and concealment, it's just going to keep on happening, even worse. And I'm not going to go into like the brother Khalil's family, but I see signs of whatever was going on continuing down through the generations.
I heard that.
Yeah,
I heard those. Yep, I heard it. I heard about those as well. It's crazy. I've been hearing stuff through the years because I still have friends that's basically I know that has family that's still in the TMOA. So I've heard, and I just heard certain things about it, and I'm like, I'm not surprised because he wasn't held accountable. So it is going to pass down because it seems like it's supposed to be okay. And that reminds me of the same thing as and they're like the churches, like the priests. Instead of them taking care of it, they go and move them to a different church. To me, it's the 100%. Same thing. It's the same thing.
Exactly. And it's an epidemic in TMOA of just nonstop abuse. Like it's so just to get some more information on your story. So like you're married for 8 years and then you left.
10 years.
10 years.
10
okay.
years. And
it was almost 10 years. Yeah.
Okay. And did the reason you left, so when you left your marriage, did you also leave the group as well?
I left everything. I left the arranged marriages because I was afraid and I was scared and I was afraid of him. And I didn't understand how you can be with someone that you were afraid of. The life I always compared my life to was the color purple.
Okay.
Because the only thing the difference was he didn't put his hands on me. But you can do a lot harm with someone's as a teenager. Their mind, their security, everything. You can tear them down to nothing. And I can say that I was at least a 14-year-old girl for like years after I left because I didn't know nothing. Even though I was in my 20s, I was still immature here because I wasn't taught anything. My mother passed away when I was 16. They almost didn't let us up to the Jamaat to see her body. My uncle had to tell people, you won't let me come up and see my sister. And this is the TMOA. They almost didn't even let him come up to see her body.
Wow. Did they give a reason why?
Oh, I don't know why. He said he had to go up there and literally tell them, if you don't let me see my sister, I'm bringing my guns. I'm coming up there. And they let him see her. But this is when we had to come. I came from Seattle and we went up to go see her body. And I was in shock. I was in shock because I couldn't believe that when you're a teenager, you're going through this. First, you're pushed out the door, and then your mother passed away, and you have nobody. So mentally, you're just like, you start to become very angry at everyone. You don't want to be a part of anything.
Understandably so.
And and then my thing was, okay, you know what? Me and my kids are going to leave. We're going to leave when we can. We're going to leave. The only thing about it is when I decided I wanted to go. Remember when they had the land over there in California?
Yeah.
Okay, and a lot of the girls were going over there to go to school. Okay, so I was one of the girls I heard that they wanted to go. So I had my youngest at the time. She was like, I think she was like 2 or 3. And I said, I wanted to go to school. As soon as I went over there, I told them I wanted a divorce. And they were like, why? I said, because I'm scared of him and I don't love him. I don't want to be with him. I never have. It's not growing on me. And I don't want to be in this. I don't want to be in this, period. I didn't like the whole situation of, it felt like you just basically let a man come and do what he needs to do. You have children. He lives in a different state. You giving all this money to the sheikh. What is going on?
Yeah,
You live in a house with a couple of other families, and what are you doing? Just
wow.
I don't understand. I never understood none of it. Like I didn't understand the purpose of it.
Yeah.
And it was just like always just do what you're told.
Mm-hmm. Hear and obey. What the doctrine they have in TMY.
Yeah. Now, does any of your children or anything, are they members of TMOA, or did everybody get away from it?
That's good.
Yeah, no, they're not members of it. No. Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. Good.
No, because they saw my daughter. She's the type of person that she'll try something. She'll try to, see, okay, but if you start to be rude, like, oh, well, you're not going to do this. You're not coming up here. Okay, well, you didn't forget. She's like, forget about y'all then. I have my relationship with the Lord. Don't worry about it. I'm good.
Yeah. Now, when you asked for a divorce, did they grant it, or did they give you a hard time?
They gave me a hard time. Okay. So I told one of the elders, I said that I want to press charges against Khalil. And she said, well, is your word against his?
Well, yeah, a little bit more than that, but I mean.
And I said, I want a divorce. And she said, why? He takes care of you. Because I'm scared of him and I can't do it. I'm done. And so I remember, what did I do? Because they were like, no, you're not getting divorced. And I can't remember exactly how I left. I know we had started to go to school. So I think I went to school and just didn't come back because they was like, well, you can leave, but you can't leave with your children.
Okay.
So when I say there was brothers, it was like a big, I don't know who his name. It was like two brothers. I just remember them being huge, tall brothers saying, no, you can't take your children with you. You can leave.
And how old were they?
My kids were little. My oldest, oh goodness gracious, I think my oldest was 10 and my daughter was 8.
Wow.
The youngest was I had 5. So
and your oldest is a male or female?
My oldest was he was a male. My son.
Okay.
My son, his name was Muti. He's no longer with us.
May Allah forgive him. So, and just to point this out is that, again, we have another example of TMOA who claims to be the only true Muslims on earth.
The best Muslims on earth.
Yeah, the best Muslims. They follow the Quran and Sunnah, but it is a woman's right to raise children. It's her right. In divorce, she gets the right to raise the children and all those kids at those ages. Now there are different opinions on what age a boy gets to decide if he wants to stay with his father or his mother during a divorce. But everybody else, like, there's no Islamic right for them to say, oh, you can't take your children. That's crazy.
Well, it's crazy because when my mother passed away, they considered us orphans. So since I was already in that relationship, I had to wait. I had to think about what I wanted to do for me and my children. And when they didn't let me take my children, I had a nervous breakdown. I was trying to go to school. And it's so deep. When I met a new person later on that was military, I even wanted him to become Muslim because that's all I knew, right? I was like, come on, you got to take a shahada. You want to marry me? Let's go.
Yeah.
Took him up there. I was pregnant. Was I pregnant? Yeah. And I don't remember. I think they was like, well, you're going to have to stay because you committed fornication. You're going to have to get lashes, blah, 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 whatever. Like, I remember sitting there and I was like, okay, fine, whatever. And then in the meantime, they're telling him, leave her here. She's crazy. Because they already had put out the word that I was crazy. They said, they was like, Waduda's daughter, Ruqaiyah, is crazy. So anytime she leave her here, and we got a 15-year-old that you can marry.
Yo.
All right.
Then and then he was like,
oh, Jamal's so messed up, dog.
Wait a minute. They really gotta get a new a new trick. Like
they have to learn some new things, because that go outside of that circle, that's totally crazy. Like you're not like, oh yeah, well,
oh you're doing something I don't like. Oh yeah, you're possessed. You're crazy.
Oh
yeah, don't marry her. We got someone that's actually younger and a kid.
15, that you can marry.
And it's crazy because I've heard so many things about me through the years. I have friends that would say, "Oh, so I heard such and such. You know what they were saying?" And then it's and that. I just found out, even talking to Shahad, she said how they was telling me that they were looking for me at the school after I left. They were like, they said it was him and the ex was looking at the school, asking people, have they seen me? I was like, what?
Oh my God.
That part I didn't know.
So,
I didn't know that at all.
That right there is like, so for all the people in TMOA, it's like, oh, you could just leave. Anybody could leave whenever they want to. This is stereotypical cult behavior. You're harassing people, stalking people because they decided to leave you. Like, this is stereotypical cult behavior. And just to kind of bring, because this is a lot what we're being hit with right now, is that
I know it's only half an hour.
I was trying to write a book. I'm still trying to see. I want to write a book, and it's just,
I want to read it.
I don't know where to start. I don't know how to start it. I'm just trying to do something.
Just start writing.
Good for me.
Yeah, just start writing. Just start putting pen to paper or WordPad, whatever.
Yep.
You just.
Okay.
Oh God.
Because really, in reality, just for everybody that's speaking out and coming together and realizing the falsehood of what we've all been through, when the media finally notices what a whole 3-4 generations of African American Muslims have been through, this story is going to blow up. There's going to be Netflix documentaries. There's going to be one after another. So start getting your story down, writing it out. And then it also helps for your kids and your family to see and know what went on. We got to preserve this thing so we can protect others.
Know what not to do in the future, because if this comes around again, you don't want to have it happen to anyone again. So,
and that's the thing. My goal had always been that I want people to understand. I want other children to understand that no matter who you with, whatever religion, it doesn't matter. If somebody touch you, you tell somebody. If they don't listen, tell somebody else. You keep telling somebody to get out of that situation, because when you don't have nobody that's going to help you, like I had nobody that was going to help me, and it's like, even when you left, people was turning their backs on you. People were kids your age that was in the community. They were jealous in the Tioman way. They were jealous, and they were like, "Oh, because you're married." And it's like, I don't want this. Like, what are you talking about? I have no mother. I have no I'm alone here. Only thing that saved me is my children. My children is keeping me sane right now.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, it's like these kids, they're so precious. And my thing is just I just want to be an advocate for children, because it's like, it doesn't make any sense why they have to keep going through this and why it's not more exposure to these pedophiles.
I think one thing that's happened, at no credit to TMOA, just the credit to the times, is that child abuse, pedophilia, and that stuff is such high alert nowadays that they have at least resisted, marrying 12 and 13-year-old girls off to people.
I heard they changed it. Yeah, I heard that.
But I mean, I guess the only exception would be, if he's passed away now, but the Sheikh was marrying 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds when he's 60, 70, 80 years old. His son also just tried recently to
force someone to marry him who's underage. He's already married with kids and stuff.
Exactly. So basically the age might have moved up a few years, especially for the people that are in power. But I mean, goodness gracious, I'm still trying to process exactly what you've been through, and just for you to be here and being able to speak about it,
Facts.
Like,
takes courage and strength, all that
yeah.
mental fortitude to live that again and speak on it.
Because like you at the age of beginning of 8, 4 or 5 years, you were molested by your stepfather, and then when you come out and try to get help, they marry you off to somebody at 13 years old, to a grown man.
10 years old.
And then 3 years later, your mother passes away. Then, you know, you're having kids already. Like you're a kid and you're having kids.
Yep.
Like literally, like you're a kid and you're having kids. Your childhood is totally stolen away from you. From 8 years old, like you are not a child anymore. Like you have no childhood. By the time you're a teenager, you are already having kids of your own. And then when you're like, you finally get the strength and like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm out of here. You go to somebody that's supposed to be a leader in TMOA, and they just say, well, it's your word versus theirs.
Yep.
That's crazy. Like, and then you get separated. There's stalk you, slander you. Like,
oh yeah.
And,
I didn't care. Everybody, I didn't care. I was telling her last night, when she was interviewing me, and I said, listen, I don't care what anybody say, because I didn't care. I think it all messed up my children. My son, he was messed up. It affected him a lot. Because he was my heart, you know. And when he died, he was 23, and in Philadelphia. So, you know, it's like he struggled through the whole time, because all they knew was me. You understand what I'm saying? So when you try to separate children, even though I saw them again 3 years later, you know, they came to me, and I wind up having a few them stay with me until they was adults and stuff like that. But it was just like, I think that we all should have basically was able to get some type of counseling, some type of something. Don't get me wrong. I do pray a lot. I'm very spiritual. I've been to many places. I've been to churches. I've been to, I have all kinds of stuff that I listen to. I still listen to my duas and stuff like that on the app, basically. Right. And it's just trying to keep my mind sane. You know, I have a good relationship with my children. I have a good relationship with them now, because before it was hard, because they turn your children against you.
100%.
Yep.
They go, oh, your mother was this and your mother was that, and she didn't want you. You know, they try to turn your kids against you. Jeez. So it's like, you know.
So they did separate you from your kids, and it was for 3 years?
Oh, yeah. So they followed what he said. So they said, well, their father said, you cannot leave with your children. So, and at that time, you know, he was a big thing there. He was a big thing in there, you know. That's basically what it was. Yeah. Like I said, you do what you're told, and you can't do nothing about it. It is what it is. And if they say something, it's being it is, basically.
Right. So like now, do you have a good relationship? Have you like the kids understand now what has happened and what you went through, or is it still a work in progress?
My oldest daughter is the one that sent me your show when I first.
Okay, alhamdulillah.
She said, Mom, listen, look at this. And I was like, did you watch the whole thing? It's over an hour. Watch the whole thing. And I was like, what? So yeah, she's with me because she still have friends, you know, that has family associated with them. And we know that some of them that was trying to get closer to the sheikh by marrying their child into the family and stuff. We know all about that.
Yep.
You know, certain things I know all about that. You know, one of my close friends, she was her mother, you know, is in it and stuff, and most of her family's in it. She's not, but yeah. So I knew a lot of stuff, you know. That's why I started learning stuff about the brother that wrote the book years ago, and it's online.
Oh, that was me.
That was him.
Yeah. That was you?
Yes, that's him.
6 years? Was that you?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't even finish reading that book because I was like, what?
No, it's long.
She was
Yeah,
like,
I don't blame you.
I haven't even started that book at all, nor do I plan to, Joshua. No offense.
No, don't.
I know you, so it's fine.
she said, you got to read the whole thing. I said, girl, I'm gonna be up all night trying to read. That was online trying to read it. I was like, what? She said, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I've been hearing certain things and stuff, you know. It's just that the fact that people think that you're supposed to just like get over it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're supposed to get over it. It happened to you a long time ago. People don't understand that abuse stays with you.
That trauma, yep.
It's trauma. It stays with you. All you do is just basically try to get a good counselor, try to talk about it. You know, it's just, you just have to basically try to learn, not get past it, but, you know, move on from it and just try to ask God to help you, you know, just stay strong.
Yeah, and you mentioned a very important part, and we can't emphasize this portion enough, especially dealing with African Americans, because we tend to just resist anything that has to do with like counseling or therapy, or, you know, it's like taboo, right? And then when you add Muslim on it, it's like, oh no, just go to the masjid and pray, and you know, your thing's gonna work. Like, no, go talk to somebody. Like the Sahabas, they went and talked to Prophet Muhammad, they talked to other Sahabas, they sought counsel, you know, and there's professionals out there. Even if you want a Muslim counselor, there's people out there that can help you get through what you were going through. And all of us, if you came from TMOA or any other cult, no matter how well adjusted you think you are, no matter how your life is going, whatever, you have to recognize that you have went through some type of trauma, you know, and you have to recognize that. And, you know, everybody handles it different, but don't be afraid to just reach out and say, hey, I need to talk to somebody.
It works so well.
Definitely.
That's one of the things that I've always said about R2F as a whole, is that it's sort of like one big giant group therapy session. And like, because everyone kind of went through similar experiences inside of the cult, so we're able to at least share that, because you can't really like tell these stories to other people and they're just like, oh yeah, this is normal for us because we know about it. So it's good to be able to you know, share stories with people that it happened to as well, understand it.
So I got a question, and you could feel free to say you don't want to talk about this, or, you know, anything we don't want to answer or don't talk about, just tell us, because it's no big deal. This is like this is your show. So are you Muslim now?
I was raised Muslim. They say that you're always a Muslim. I just believe in God. I still believe, you know, because I know, you know, I just believe in God. I'm spiritual.
Okay.
You know, I know these are the last days. There's a lot of things going on in the world, changing, a lot of signs everywhere, things you need to do. I know. But I know that me personally, everybody has to answer to themselves by yourself. You're not gonna be in front of nobody. So I just believe in God. No, I'm not saying that it's a wrong religion. No, I'm not at all.
Right.
I think Christianity is real close. And that's where I'm stuck.
Okay.
So I tell people that all the time because I wasn't explained that. So me and my best friend, I think he's Muslim. he knows a lot about the Muslim cult. He's one of the friends that actually helped me survive in my 30s. Like, it was really, really teaching me how to be a woman, teaching me how to respect myself. Because when I was separate, when I say I went crazy, you know, you talking about maybe partying, you mean drinking, it all kind, just, you know, you don't know what to do. You separated, you just like, I was heavily depressed. I was heavily I had anxiety. I was still scared. Even in my 30s, I was still scared. I was afraid that person that I was with I would pop up and see that person. I couldn't see that person for a long time. And I didn't, my kids used to tease me and say, are you gonna be okay? Oh, I'm 40 something. Yeah, I'll be okay. But that person, I swear, it would took a long time. It's like when you getting ready. You know how I remember when you was getting ready, you did something wrong, and your only step then it's like, oh, with the belt.
Yeah.
And your stomach hurt.
Yeah.
And your stomach hurt, and you're like sitting there like, well, I'm not going to do it. Okay. And that's how you feel. You feel like you're so scared you can't eat nothing. And that's how it felt all those years. It felt all those years that I couldn't do nothing. And I used to joke with my friend about it. I said, no wonder I was skinny after I had all I couldn't eat no food.
Terrified, yeah. He's muted.
You're muted.
Sorry about that. Again, I got a sick youngin here, so he's needs some attention. But so would you attribute the experiences that you had with your abuse, your forced marriage, your experiences in TMOA and the cult of TMOA, did those things have a role in like you're distancing yourself from like the formal aspect of Islamic religion?
Yes, I'm gonna say that because of the fact that when it was the arranged marriage, that's when everybody started following the Sheikh. Okay. He's the one that told her, "Oh, y'all got to move out of Philly." When that's when Muslims started separating. You have Muslims that still in Philly doing the same things they do. They go to Jummah, they make prayer, they still make salah, they do the same thing. The Sunni Muslims still do the same thing. Then you have the other Muslims that wanted to be closer to Sheikh. Decided, okay, I'm gonna move you over across the town. I'm gonna move you away from your family. And by the time you see your family, everybody dies.
Jeez.
So then that's what happened. And so from that time to start, that's what we were following. And I didn't understand what it was. I was just told to just shut up and just do what you're told. That's it.
Which is not the prophetic or Islamic way whatsoever. And I want to just highlight this point for our viewers is that this is, and just for you as well. Like we're here. It's not just like we're combating spiritual abuse, but we try to be a resource. Like if you ever wanted to reach out to myself, anyone, the R2F members, Scheherazade, and just talk about Islam, because we would want you to, come fully back to the religion of Islam. And
I knew that was coming.
Yeah. So of course we got to mention that, but I'm not. That's that's not what we're gonna do. Yeah. But I want to highlight to the viewers is that this is why this type of stuff is important, because if we're Muslims and we're watching this and we fully believe in Islam, so we want other people to believe in Islam, right? When abuse like this happens, it turns people away from the religion, because why would I want to be a part of a religion that molesters get away, children are forced to be married, people are abused, families are separated? Why would anybody want to be a part of a religion that promotes that? And if you're a part of a cult like TMOA, all this stuff is associated directly with the religion because the cult is supposedly representing the religion. And this is the biggest danger that we run into when we have these cases of abuse. So we go ahead. Go ahead.
I have a quick question. So how did y'all figure out that, how do I put it? How did y'all figure out that something wasn't right? Because living up there and under that imam in Seattle, on Alaska, Washington, that's what we lived in, on Alaska, Washington. Living over there, everybody followed. He was right under the Sheikh. So my question is, how did they figure out that some things wasn't right? Because I know he still follows. The teachings.
Right. I know that everybody's story is like a little different, but there are some general themes. And so like one of the themes is people suffer some kind of abuse or transgression, right? Like yourself, or other people, that something happens that really like says, okay, like it creates that conflict of how could this happen? Because I know this is wrong and these people are supposed to be right. And that just starts the questioning and the wheel starts turning, and then they start seeing all the things that don't add up. Then there's another theme where people actually start seeking Islamic knowledge outside of the group of TMOA, and they realize that, like, okay, they don't represent Islam whatsoever.
Got it.
Then another theme that pops up, and it seems like this theme is like is like in both camps, right? Is that most of these people end up being strong, critical thinkers that just question things naturally. Like, you can't just tell me one thing and I'm just gonna, like, you might go with the flow, but in your mind you're still like, wait a minute. And then eventually those wait a minute starts building up, and you're like, nah, this is. So it's usually a critical thinker, someone has a strong personality, strong opinions, and they seem to like be a part of both camps. But everybody's like, my story is a little different than Amr's story is a little different, and or Scheherazade, like everybody has like a little twist to it, but those seems to be like some common themes.
Yeah.
Okay, so people just started coming to you, telling you different stories, and they just started adding up and a lot more and more and more.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And that's what R2F has really been, like Amr said, is kind of like a big group therapy session, but also just like a network, because we provide a focal point where people say, okay, well, I know I can go to R2F and tell my story, and I know people have experienced the same thing. So now that people have, for the last 20, 30 years, have been experiencing this stuff all on their own, just like yourself. Like you went through all those years by yourself, getting help by yourself, dealing with it by yourself. Now everybody that's been dealing with it by themselves has been saying, oh, wait, there's somebody else. And that's kind of what R2F has been. Like, hey, let me connect with them, share my story. And then, you know, we've been taking off for the last 3 years, alhamdulillah.
Oh, good. Yes, definitely. Because I never thought this day would come. My best friend told me, she said, this is your opportunity. She's like, go ahead and tell your story. She said, I said, I never, ever in a million years would think. I thought it was going to be like that. I never thought, I technically didn't think anybody would think he was a fraud, or think that he, not a fraud, but think he would go to a different level.
Yeah.
Because as far as before, even from that other show, I thought, you know, if it wasn't the fact that he didn't, if you don't like Black people, if that's not the type of people that you want to associate with, why use them? You know, and you know, because I'm pro-Black, I'm to that point where I think us as Black people need to stick together. We need to not let people try to control us. Why are we so easily to the point where we want somebody to tell us what to do?
Yes, exactly.
Very trusting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of theories behind that, and the one that always pops up in my hand is that for some reason, especially African Americans, but we always look for some kind of white savior.
Yep.
You know, it's like we need the white Messiah to come save us.
Malcolm X was saying that for years. That was his whole fight, was like, we can't like be a part of the same people who enslaved us, basically. And like that's what we try to be oftentimes, because we're so forgiving as a people. We just like to forgive and move on, but oftentimes it isn't the best way.
Yeah. All right. So are you willing to take some questions from the audience?
Sure.
All right. Before we get to that, do you have any other questions for us?
No. I'm actually good. I was a little nervous at first, but I'm good. I just have to. It's been a while, you know. So I just basically try to keep my composure.
Well, alhamdulillah, you've done a great job, and of course we applaud you guys for, you know, people like you, Scheherazade, Nabila, and Hussein Haq's Umi, is you guys coming on the show and talking about the stuff that you guys have went through. Is, like Amr said, is very courageous. We're very proud of you. Respect you. We're here for you if you need any help with anything.
Appreciate
you know,
that.
just let us know. Whatever it is, we'll try to help the best that we possibly can. You know, and again, we applaud you. You telling your story is going to help so many people that you're not even going to count. You know, we got to or mainly me, because people seem to message me. I get so many messages of, oh, thanks so-and-so for that, help wake me up, and help guide my life. And I get so many that I don't even have time to like forward them on to like, hey, this is what so-and-so said. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
So you're really helping a lot. And what you're doing is really honorable.
Mm-hmm.
So do we have any questions? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I really hope so, because I want the kids, you know, children or adult girls and boys. If you're going through it, tell somebody. If it's happening to the mom or dad, leave. Leave with the clothes on your back. Take your kids and leave. Because it should not be. You know, I always said if anything happened with my, God forbid, my granddaughter, my daughter, I'm gonna take care of her because my daughter's gonna be in jail. That's just the way it is. That's what's gonna happen. You know.
Yep.
You know some things you just know. You know.
Yeah.
It's just that sometimes people are afraid, and it is easier said than done, but it does take you time. It does take time to figure out, okay, this is what you're going to do. Because I prayed before I left. I was like, you know what, Lord? I was like, please help me get strength to do this, because I have to do this.
Yeah. It's a good thing you did, because if you didn't, Allah knows best where.
Yeah.
You know.
I thought about that before. I was like, I don't know, man. I'd be a basket case, probably. I think so.
Yep. All right. So, do we have any questions, Amr? Then from the chat.
Yes, we do have a few questions from the chat. What was your relationship with Jilani like, or if you had one at all, for that matter?
No, I've never. I don't remember meeting him. I just remember we had. He came to Seattle, and I guess he had one of the ladies got put all these, you know, I guess those wraps that they came from over Pakistan. He gave them all out to the ladies over there in Seattle. That's all I remember.
Okay.
I remember getting one of those. I don't remember meeting him personally. If I did, I really can't remember.
Okay.
Did you ever know Barry Adams?
Barry Adams, is that okay? What's his name?
I have no idea.
That'd be Abu Bakr.
Oh my goodness, that name sounds familiar. I can't get a face, but I know that person. Yes.
Okay. Someone said to let you know that they appreciate your courage, inspirational, and we appreciate her being part of this show.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's see. What does she use to determine what does she use to determine who God is, and has she studied the Quran and Sunnah independently?
I haven't read it, the whole thing, because I have a Bible as well. So I haven't studied it. No, I have not since I was younger. Yeah, we're still, I'm still like, you know.
Okay. Everyone has to walk at their own pace. So, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all still learning. It's a never-ending process till we die.
Cradle to the grave.
Yes.
Anything else, chat? You guys have any other questions before we let her go on about her day?
I think that's it, right? Someone asked, do you know if Sheikh Jilani was ever made aware of your forced marriage or the molestation that you suffered? Do you know if that was ever brought to him?
I doubt that seriously.
Okay.
Because he's still walking around like nothing happened.
I know a lot of states they've been passing laws to get rid of the statute of limitations on those types of cases. And other people have contacted me about certain individuals, and I know it was maybe several years ago that New York did away with their statute. I think it was like 7 years for some weird reason. Like, why would you put a stat? But they got rid of that law, so now there's no statute of limitations on abuse like that. So
good to know.
But yeah, the law is most just, and we know they're going to get it. But still, if anybody from the membership or the leadership of TMOA, because y'all inherit this, you know, just like one administration inherits the problems of the other administration. You guys represent TMOA. You guys need to reach out to people like Kimberly, Ruqaiyah, and apologize. Ask for forgiveness. Do something, because your fathers, your grandfathers, your uncles, the administrations before you, they're responsible for this stuff. And you can't just sit by and act like, with all this fake idea of like these are the golden years and everything we did was all right. It's just story after story of abuse, neglect, and you guys have to do something about it. So I think
I don't expect them. I don't expect anybody to. I don't expect anybody to do anything about it. Even with the only thing that really hurt me the most was when they spread the word that I abandoned my children. I didn't like that. That took years to get over that. So, I just, I'm glad that everything is okay now. But my kids know that I have issues sometimes with myself, because I try to just basically try to get past it. Right. And just basically do what I need to do. But when you raise children in that, and that's all they know until everybody's an adult, and then they start to wake up and know, okay, this is wrong, this is not good. Even growing up with Malcolm X. Okay, so growing up, as I got older, I started studying a little bit more of Malcolm X and stuff. And I was just like, it's the same thing. When he found out the truth, and then his own Muslims wanted him to get rid of it. And all they did was the CIA just pitted him against each other to make sure they killed him. Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing. It's just like people don't want to know the truth. They don't want to, they rather just slide it under the rug and let it keep happening. And nobody's going to want to come to a religion if they know that you allow pedophiles to live there, and you say, oh, we're just going to get them counseling. No, what? There's no such thing. There's no such thing. Yeah. You file charges, you get them arrested, because guess what? You got to worry about that baby you just had. And by the time that baby's like 6, and then don't let that baby be around that child that's 10, because you don't know, because the father did that to somebody else. Those are things you have to worry about.
Man, this has been a rough few days.
Facts.
But as much as whatever we're feeling from just hearing your stories, it's just not even comparable for you guys to actually live through this stuff.
Experienced it,
and are still living through this. I'm just at a loss for words. And we really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story with us.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And we would like to remain in contact and just.
I already told her she could. I told her she could.
Okay. Good. Alhamdulillah.
She said, she's like, you can join the show. I was like, she said, but they'll have your phone number. I was like, I want people calling me. No, I'm not a nice person when it comes to calls. I'm really not. I tell people, they'll be like, oh my goodness, she has a foul mouth. I'm like, no, don't call my phone. I don't know who you are, but you will. Like, so yeah.
Well, I mean, just we like to create like a network, just because like we're kind of just winging it, and just the different experiences that people have. It's good to be able to say, okay, well, you've had a certain experience. Maybe you could talk to this person that had similar experiences, because there's certain things that we're just out of our depth,
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Well, this is usually around the time during the week, because I work till 5. Is the times to get me is usually around the times. On the weekends, if you want to do a conference call and talk about a subject, that's fine. The weekends is fine for me. I don't work on the weekends.
Okay.
But other than that, I told her just she texts me first and then we talk. So that's good for me. I told her that's fine. I'm just in the process of trying to once I get my I'm going for get my degree, so I can go ahead and get into a different field. I want to do phlebotomy, because I'm working for mortgages for 20 years. So I'm ready to get off the phone, ready to get out of the computers. I want to start taking blood. That's my goal. I'm going to start taking blood. I think this is going to be a different time, different thing, and it'll be easier for me. And I need some more money, so they ain't paying you enough. So
inshallah it works out for you. Well, if we don't have any other questions, I can close out the show, and we will send you on your way. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you both. Appreciate it.
All right. اللهم ارزقني تفكري وتدبري بما يتلوه بلسان من كتابك واشرح له والمعارف بما أنيه نظر في الأجائبه والأمر بذلك ما بقيت إنه على كل شيء قدير. السلام